In this video, I'm going to walk you through the step Create Sharing Rules. This is the fourth step on the project Protect Your Data in Salesforce. Let's get to it. Create Sharing Rules. At present, recruiting information is visible only to owners and users above them in the role hierarchy. Create sharing rules for other users who also require access to recruiting information. So honestly, this connection here, makes this flow makes no sense. I feel like this is a mistake on the behalf of the editors, because we're talking about recruiting here and then we're going into talking about opportunities. What's the connection? So honestly, I think this is a mistake. Maybe I could listen to this gentleman explain it, but I shouldn't have to. This should make sense. However, be that as it may, what we're going to do now is use sharing settings based on criteria. And this is one of the really important tools at your disposal for managing security settings. This comes up in the Security Specialist Super Badge, so you want to know how to do this stuff. You have your organization-wide defaults, you have roles, you have profiles, you have permission sets. You also have sharing settings. And this is really, really beneficial to understand. So let's do this together and I'll talk you through while we're going through it. So let's click into sharing settings. We're going to go to opportunities. Sometimes I don't know why this list isn't alphabetized. I would think it should be. And now we're going to go down here to opportunity sharing rules and click new. We're going to call this share one opportunities with accounts receivable. And it's going to be based on criteria. And let's think this through. Okay, so the field is the one field. Okay, so the field that says is it one or not is the deal one. The operator is equals, and the value, click this little look up here, is going to be true, and then insert selected. When you have this, that means that when the one field is, true, this opportunity status has been set to 1, then what are we going to do with it? We're going to share it with the role accounts receivable. So I'm going to click here into roles, and then we're going to do accounts receivable. And the access that we're going to give them is read-write. So that means they're able to edit it. And we're going to click Save and OK. And now any opportunity that is set to 1 is just now getting set with everybody that's got the role of accounts receivable. That's cool. And anyone that happens in the future, that will happen too. This is an amazing way of being able to share information with people based off of when they need access to it. Create sharing rules for recruiting read users. For confidentiality reasons, applicant, interview, and position records have been made private, but members of the recruiting team need to collaborate on each other's records, and the VPs need to read access to all open positions. The senior leadership of the company, the vice presidents, they need to see what's happening, and they're allowed to because they're the vice presidents, for crying out loud. From setup, enter sharing settings in the quick find box. By the way, that's also going to impact what they can see in the reports too. So even if they're not the ones actively doing the work, if they want to look at a report to see how many open positions there are, how many positions have been filled, they want to see that information from an executive point of view, so they can make sure that the company is sort of being steered in the right direction. They need access to being able to see this information so it shows up in those reports. Okay, in the Manage Sharing setting for pick list, select applicant, all the way down here with the custom objects. And create under applicant sharing rules, click new, and we're going to do this one here. based on record owner. And if it's owned by one recruiter, then we're going to share it with everybody else that also has that same. So then we're going to share it with everybody else who's also a recruiter. So if, and the access level that we're going to give them is just read only. And click OK. Now we're going to do the same thing with the interviewer. We're going to create a sharing rule to give recruiters read-write access to the other's position records. So now we're going to create a public group for all VPs, and this will be our mechanism for sharing this information with all VPs. So we're going to go to public groups. We'll create new, and we're going to call this VPs. And from the search pick list, select roles. And what we're going to do is select all the VPs in the list and click the add arrow to the selected members of this group. So and then click Save. And now we're going to go back to sharing settings. Now that we've created that public group, we can now create a sharing rule to share with that public group. Just like before, we had a sharing rules that we did based off of criteria or based off of role. We could also do it to share it to public groups. So we're going to go back to sharing settings. And we're going to go to position, the position object, and we're going to create a new sharing rule, and we're going to call it share open positions with VPs. And this one we're going to do based on criteria. So if the status equals open, so the status of this position is open, we're then going to share it with the public group, VPs. And they'll only need to give them access to read only. So now they can see all of the open positions. We did that public group for VPs based off of their role. And here it's working off of criteria. Okay. That should be it. Let's double check.